are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Up,
another
guys?
episode of The Current. Would we call are these episodes, Lawrence?
I haven't titled as episodes. We could probably call them something else in the future, but I like episodes. I like episodes
Episodes.
because, especially like when we go like 2 weeks without like really talking to each other, it feels like
Yeah.
another episode. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, the gang, yeah, what's been happening? I don't
Yeah,
know.
like we literally have not spoken at all since our last. Some often we'll have like a few voice notes or something in between us in those 2 weeks, but we have not said peep to each other. You just sent me a hug
Yeah.
emoji like 2 days ago.
Well, because I was just like, I don't know what I was doing, but I was thinking like you came into my field and I was just like, oh, I'm just gonna send you a hug real quick. Maybe she
Mm,
needs one.
mm. I feel
I'll do
like I
that.
needed that hug in the field, in the last few days.
Yeah.
I was just saying to Lawrence before we hit record, like when he asked me how I am, I was like, I feel like I've been in another freaking place. And then we decided, well, let's talk about that on the live. Get us going in our conversation today. Yeah, I feel like I needed that hug. I feel it's what I love about like the friendships that you create within this field, with this in
Mhm.
that are also in that field of contemplation. Oh, one of my really good friends messaged me last night too, and she was like, mate, are you alive? Like, I'm just checking. Are you alive? Because I feel like you might not be alive right now. And it's just that connection that we form in the field of
Yeah.
contemplation, And I definitely feel like, yeah, this morning I feel like I'm kind of landing back in the reality of my life. I feel like I've been in some weird on the cusp of not in my real life, kind of even walking through my day to day in the last week or so, just like, who am I? What am I
Mhm.
doing? What do I even want from my life? I don't feel like I want anything. Like I've been in this really interesting place of that to my mind feels like a lack of ambition.
Hmm.
Yet to my heart and my soul, and I've been tuning into it, is something different from that. So, like, what I was able to kind of pinpoint was that, and I was writing about this in my journal this morning. For years, I've been in this process of um, detaching my worth from the things that I do,
Mhm.
detaching my level of worthiness to things that I can achieve or money that I make or all of the yang based kind of system around where your value comes from,
Mhm.
which is happens in these big sheddings, which over the last 11 years of doing this deep inner work, I've been through many phases of that shedding. But I feel like this year I've really been arriving at this sacred level of self-love and this sacred certainty that I am completely worthy of love, like a sacred certainty. And in that certainty, I feel like I'm in this in between where my worth is no longer attached to the things that I achieve, the things that I do. Yet I haven't had enough time to kind of ground in what the fuck does that look like in terms of my life? Because searching for worth is very good motivation in this life, right? Like you can get a lot of shit done when you are looking to prove your worthiness. You can get a lot of shit
Sure.
done when you're looking to that hunger of the 35 that when it thinks that it's going to be more if it does more and has more.
Is that what
That's
came up for you? Is that like the what's
yeah,
spinning your
yeah.
wheels for you?
The piece
Okay.
is like around now that that has almost completely evaporated from my life. That's been evaporating from my life for many, many years. But I feel like I'm at this point where that's almost completely gone. And there's this one little bit in me that's kind of trying to hook on, being like, but who the fuck am I if I'm not You know,
Yeah.
where that sacred motivation comes from, which again, the pearl, you've been feeling kind of drawn to that pearl energy, and I very much feel in the beauty of the unfolding of the purity, like pure, pure motivation, pure passion, pure enthusiasm that comes from that higher purpose instead of the bits that we slap on top of that purity that is about self-importance or about some kind of I'll get value from this. When that's all
Mhm.
gone, like just discovering the next layer of pure enthusiasm.
We are synced because I just spent like the past 4 weeks writing about the 12th Jinky
Oh,
in particular.
purity.
And I've been contemplating a lot the the Ring of Light. Um
What's in the ring of light?
5, 11 through the 12th. I was like now I'm like moving on to the 11th, but
Hmm.
also in a pause and like big integration period, which sounds like you've been in, just
Mm,
like in a period of integration.
mm.
Uh but not one that you're willing to react to anymore, which is super. I mean, it sounds to hear you vocalize it
Mm,
in the way that you did is like really, I mean, I think it's impressive just from my own experience of reacting so much to potential low points or points of
mm,
dissociation or
mhm,
just, I don't
mhm,
know, waves that are moving through the collective
mm,
at the time, whatever reasons or stories I want to attach to like what I'm feeling less than uh, optimal or life is
mm,
feeling less than adventurous to put it through that frame.
mm,
Uh,
mm.
but I was thinking about the fifth gene key. I don't know if I can talk about the 12th gene key without like completely derailing us into something because I had a really potent download through that.
Mm,
That I don't know it's like necessarily uh ready to be shared. But I will say one thing after uh in the end. But it's interesting with the seals too. Okay, so like the fifth gene key, I feel like really when you end, do you remember in the Star Pearl, which with the benevolent template, is the fifth gene key in one of them?
Stability.
Stability? Which sphere is that?
The
Is
one
that
at
the
the bottom,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
the
Oh,
stability gene key.
the higher the higher aspect of the SQ, right? Essentially.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the transformation. Okay, that makes
Mm,
sense. Oh,
mhm,
I've been really feeling, I guess, like that sphere then, because I feel like one of the most, I feel like the fifth gene key is like so much the doorway into the gift frequency,
mhm. It's the
into
feel.
into a stable level of the gift frequency, which kind of is like what
Mhm,
I'm picking up on, what I've been like contemplating myself, or
mm,
like witnessing in my own life is like just like a year previously, a commitment maybe it starts with the commitment. I don't know to being patient, and finally seeing the fruits of that this summer and some of the things I've been like building and like working towards
mm,
and work and finances and creative pursuits. They all feel in bloom. And
mm,
I was just laughing the other day because it's like it's such a it's so sticky. Like patience is so sticky once you get into the actual groove of patience to like talk about like the ring of light a little bit more.
mm,
Like once you actually get into like the groove, like deep part of patience, it just seems like the obvious answer to everything. But in the
Mm,
very beginning, it's like really it's so challenging, you know? And uh I've always found like the or I have not found, but it's occurred to me at some point that like the fifth gene key and the 35 are like I don't know. They're like angels that follow alongside the Venus sequence in many ways to me.
mm,
Because you have like a ring of miracles, and then you also have the ring of light. And it's
mm,
like the the hunger that you experience is like so or like our natural hunger is like so physical. It's like you're getting down to the physical aspect of like our biology to continue.
mm, mm.
And I guess it just has its own timing and its own rhythm too. And rhythm being
Mm,
like a huge part of that fifth gene key. So,
mm,
um,
mm. Hunger going
I-
alongside the Venus, like I've been contemplating that a lot through the lens of IQ, which I'm in at the moment with my group, and this like how hungry we are for love, how hungry we are for worth, how hungry we are to have our wounds healed. Yet in the Venus, we come to this really intimate relationship with how we're projecting that hunger into our relationships. And when you're hungry for love or worth and you believe that it comes from the outside in, that's where all of the defense and protection mechanisms of the Venus come from. And
Mhm.
so then they become the return, like our hunger for worth gets to be redirected onto the adventure of discovering that you are wholly worthy inside of yourself and that you don't need anything outside of yourself. Like, and like that is the ultimate adventure. But it's such a
Mhm.
patient path, you know. We want someone to come into our lives and show us how worthy we are. So then, oh, it's done. Like I found what I was looking for, but you never find it because the patient path is the only path that there is, right?
But yeah, it's like patience isn't something you do. It's just like something you like wake up in one day. That's kind of like what I was figuring out. I was like, oh, this is what real patience feels like. It's
Mm,
not, there's no try in it, you know,
mm.
because then you're just impatiently being patient.
Yes. Yeah, it's
And
like that whole waiting, how people think that to be patient is just to wait, but it's the frequency in which you wait. It's not
right,
about the time of waiting. You can wait decades for something and wait impatiently.
right. And that's why I think like, I actually wrote about this way back, like the perils of impatience, but like how if you're waiting impatiently, then you're just waiting in scarcity. So it's like you can't really
Mm,
unlock that aspect of the pearl,
mm-hmm,
or really the Venus sequence because it's like worth,
mm-hmm,
you know, it's
mm,
like
mm.
the same desire to feel worthy is the same thing that fuels the impatience at the end of the
Yes,
day.
yes.
Because you want to feel a
Mm-hmm,
certain level of wholeness,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
abundance,
Yeah,
and it still eludes you even when if you like do it by the book, you know,
yeah,
because you're
yeah.
still playing the agenda game most ultimately. So,
And the distrust game. Like ultimately,
yes, yeah,
impatience
that's it.
is about a deep distrust in life itself, in the unfolding of life, and the timing of life. And like I love whenever someone has that gene key when I'm working with them. I love how Richard shares this invitation. I can't remember if it's in the book or in the audio, but around migration patterns
Hmm.
and how like just the contemplating of the migration patterns of nature and how a flock of I don't know what migrates geese or something a flock of geese aren't in a rush
Right.
for their time of migrate. It's like this deep trust in the fact that that just happens. And for us as humans, there's nothing we can do to control seasons or weather or timing. It's like nature has got it sorted in the
Right.
deepest of ways. And so it's about how you said you just wake up in patience one day. I think it's sort of when we align ourselves with that field of trust and
Mm,
timing of life.
yeah. I mean, it's hard. It's like we learn to be impatient, and sometimes
Mm.
life might, our life, like the characters or situations in our life might tell us that being impatient is like the safest way to be, you know?
Yeah.
And that can be, I don't know, really difficult to reprogram. And then you have the
Mm.
nature of just that, I see now where we're going. That all of life is set up out of rhythm, you know, outside of natural rhythms. So it
Mm.
enforces this like scarcity upon you through the actual structure of time because it's outside of rhythm. It's just scheduled, you know? And it's like
Mm.
rhythm contains pauses, but our world is not set up to pause, which is like why the gene keys are so uh
Mm-hmm.
appear so simple, but are like really radical in like what they ask you to do, you know? And
Yes.
the what was I just gonna say? Oh, and uh yeah, and like the ultimate impatience is because we feel like we're gonna die, you know? That there's not enough time. And I've
Mm.
had the 28 like coming into my vibe like really recently the past few days, like the 28
Mm.
gene key, because I was like writing about it and I was like, what? Or I was looking,
28 has been
I was,
such a theme for my year.
okay, really? I'm
Yeah.
curious
Sat
because
with the 28 deeply this year.
it sounds like that kind of like mirrors what you were kind of experiencing in your
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what am
Yeah.
I doing with my life? You know, that feeling
Mm.
of purposelessness. And
Mm.
uh
Mm.
I think it's interesting in light of the fifth gene key and like the gift of patience and like timelessness, because like our stability, well, first of all, like the SQ being a higher uh the SQ sphere itself being a higher aspect or like root from your purpose. I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
when that was talked about, but uh, it's like the root of your causal body, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the your purpose being like a more the sphere of your purpose being more physical. I can't remember when Richard was talking about that, but it's in my awareness, so I'm going to stick with it. And uh, the sense of stability that you get from your purpose, from that
Mm-hmm.
sense of worth, from like healing your heart, and then the stability that comes when you're like living in higher service, you know, in totality with your calling. And
Mm.
like you need patience for your purpose. Like your purpose just emerges in the same time. You just wake up in it one day, you know?
Mm.
It's not necessarily um I was thinking about this, right? It's like your life's work is what you're doing, but your purpose is just like who you are, you know?
Mm.
It's like when you feel disconnected from like who you are,
Mm. Mm. Can you
from
hear
the
Stephen
totality.
snoring really loudly in the background? Just gonna
I
check.
can't.
Okay, good. I've said his
Courtney's been
name and he's
operating
woken
a
up.
chop saw out in our backyard, so I don't know if you guys can hear that.
He was laying with his head like directly into the carpet and his nose, so he's breathing like. I'm like, could you please? He was distracting me. Anyway, he's stumped now. Um, mm, I love and resonate with everything that you're saying, and with that patience for me, like the what's feeling alive right now is the 35 side of that five. You know that how it's only when the hunger Only when we see the hunger for what it truly is that we can kind of start to arrive more fully in that field of patience, because even sometimes when we think that we're being patient and we're like even bringing focus to being in the energy of patience, quite often we're trying to bring patience to where we're caught in hunger anyway. So we're trying to be patient with the unfolding of the thing that we're hungry for. So, like, just a really interesting feeling of, oh my
Wait,
gosh.
can you
I'm
say
just
that one
going
more
to
time?
move Stephen for a sec because he is
Oh, he's
just
already up. Hey,
snoring.
Steve.
That's Kevin. Stephen's. Stephen, it's ridiculous. Let me just, let me align you there, mate. There you go. There you go. All right. Stephen's like a little nugget in his little bed over there. That's Stephen.
Uh, they just
Oh
want to
my
hang out
God.
with you.
Always, always. Um, yeah, and I think what sparked a lot of this for me is because of the IQ. And in the gift of the IQ, Richard kind of redefines intelligence. And now he's like, intelligence isn't just about the intellect or cleverness. True intelligence grows when you are grounded in the certainty that you are fully worthy of love. And that sent me down, like that brought a piece of freshness to what I've been contemplating already in my own life for quite a few months now of I was like, that's fucking it. That's it. Like this returning to that certainty, the open-mindedness that happens then in the IQ where you're not just running, and you mentioned stories before, like the stories we tell ourselves, when you're not just running that story that is attached to some kind of hunger for worth and purpose and all of those things.
Mm.
It's like, whoa. And I've got farsightedness in my IQ, and maybe that's what I'm feeling.
Well, it's also a
This,
seal, you know?
mm,
So it's
mhm.
like
And it's the benevolent template gene key for the IQ 17.
17,
Yeah,
18,
17.
but close. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I get what you mean for the ring of matter. You
For
mean
the IQ, like in the course for the Venus sequence, the IQ is described as like gene key 17 is like the gene key for the IQ. Have you seen that?
is it new?
No.
Are you talking about like the ring of matter? Like
No, I'm
like
talking
the
about like the Venus sequence course. It talks about gene key 17 being like the gene key of the IQ because it's all about opinions that we formed, worldviews. And so then the IQ journey, like the 17 is the overarching gene key of the IQ.
then what's the EQ?
The EQ is 46, or is that the SQ?
Oh wait,
46?
yeah, no. No, so like yeah, like the
46?
ring of matter core. So that's the ring of matter mapped onto those spheres. So it's 18.
Well, it doesn't talk about 18 in the actual Venus course. It talks about gene key 17.
We're gonna have to look.
Yeah, it's in there. There's a whole teaching on it.
Anyways, it doesn't matter because 18 and 17 are programming partners, so
Yeah,
I get what you're
yeah,
thinking of.
yeah.
But I feel what you're saying. Like do the 18.
Mm.
Um and that is a yeah, special place to have that 17 gene key in your IQ.
Mm.
Um
When we are certain of our worth, suddenly there is a lot more pause in our life. Like you
right.
were saying about the rhythm.
Right. Well, also in like if you think say okay, like do that, whether it's I'm pretty sure it's 18, but either way, the connection to the 18th is like something that always appears to me is like because the 18th shadow is judgment. That
Hmm.
is like always such a like really like it's like such a dense part in the Matrix because it's like judgment is also part of the core wound, like
Mm.
in the fourth core wound. So it's like you kind of get like a sandwich in
Mm.
uh that part.
And I mean,
Now
who
I've just
feels
noticed
more
that.
judged than a teenager, right? It feels more
Oh,
like feeling like everybody is judging me, and then, but then also being caught up in that judgment of everything. Because what we're really trying to judge in that time is we're trying to judge our level of worth, where it comes from, and understand it so that I can figure it out, so I can be okay, so that I can, you know,
and the yeah, like one of my spiritual practices over the winter was going to the gym, the Parks and Rec Center here in Denver,
mm-hmm,
but the one like right downtown by the high school, because all the high schoolers would be in there,
mm-hmm,
and I go there to dance, and I'm just like on the basketball courts, but they're always just hanging out there in between periods or like skipping class or whatever,
yeah,
and so I just like it's like exposure therapy for me from just dancing in front of like I can feel the judgment and
yeah,
like the eyes and the vibes on me, and I just
yeah.
have to like,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, learn how
I
to
get to
navigate that in a fresh way.
right and understand it's like these are just mirrors of myself, mirrors of my own judgment on me because that's the only thing but it was a very powerful practice because when I first got
Mm,
there, it's like I wouldn't because you can't hide in movement, and especially
yeah.
like for me, like I spend so much of my time dancing. I know when I'm like not dancing
Mm,
naturally.
mm-hmm.
So like feeling that like thaw over
Yeah.
months was like an
Yeah.
interesting experience
Children
to
are
see.
such a brilliant portal into our own inner child healing, right? And that's where most people, like when they become parents and they have that experience of moving through those 3 7 year cycles with their own child, so much healing comes through that. But then for those of us who don't have children or don't have children yet, it's like these beautiful opportunities. Like my years as a primary school teacher, getting to be immersed with like 10 and 11-year olds all day, every day for
That's
years. Like,
so I didn't know that,
such
and then you told me that when I was talking about like speaking on here, and I you said that, and I was like, that makes so much sense.
that I was a primary school teacher.
Yeah. Because you'd
Yeah.
be a freaking riot, you know? I can just see it. So like I can see the kids loving you so much.
Oh my God. We just had so much fun. But then just if I didn't end up taking this path, um, and if my body didn't have its limitations in the way that it does, I loved teaching, like the oh, the opportunity that you get to connect with the truth of a child, and the opportunity that you get to help them to see things in different ways, and just to fucking love them is just so many. I have so many very potent experiences from my time as a teacher that have greatly
Mm.
informed my Gene Keys journey and have helped me to make sense. Like, I'll come up with, there'll be a certain gene key that I'm looking at, or a sphere, and there'll be something from that time that helped me to understand that. I don't know. It's just a very, very rich season of my life being a teacher.
Mm.
Mm.
They're the best mirrors.
They are. They are. And like in this season of my life,
Because of
living
their
with my little kitties.
yeah,
Mm.
I was gonna say because of their purity.
Hmm. Yeah.
So it's like to me, I notice if you are somewhat aware, you will be hyper vigilant of the projections
Mm.
you automatically carry into a field with a child.
Yes.
And just through experiences like my friends' children who I love dearly, and uh like things will just like come into my mind, like through that plane in my being. And it's just
Hmm.
patterns, of programming.
Hmm. Hmm.
And uh just really watching, it's like, oh, it's like those are things I have just like carried with me, you know,
Hmm. Hmm.
through the
Hmm.
years.
And you really
Uh,
notice in them, especially like the young boys in school that just aren't built for that system. The boys that are, more like Bevan or more like you that are like these passionate beings that don't want to sit still on the fucking mat for 6 hours a day. Like, and you get to see how much of an impact, like just how much of an impact the schooling experience and stuff has on these kids in the way you see them, around between 8 to 12 years old, right? Like that real EQ time. You can see how they're forming this identity around who people have told them they are. You're
mhm.
naughty, you're this, you're stupid, we don't want you here. Like they take on all of these things like a sponge, but also at that time it doesn't take much to help them to start
Mhm.
to see a different way. Like,
Right.
yes, they can take on these really horrible viewpoints about themselves, but there is this beautiful thing about that time in their life that they're also so malleable to help them to take on a different point of view, though, as well.
Yeah.
Whereas we can be so stuck in when you've carried it for that whole time and you've locked in during your IQ years, we can be very rigid in not even being willing to consider that there is another way to see ourselves,
Mm.
Good
Yeah,
old
and so
brain.
much yeah, so much early programming I find is like through that aspect of rhythm, like what you were saying, like it disrupts our natural rhythm when we're like 11 years old and should be like running around and
Well, who were
outside.
you kind of told that you were, or when you gaze back onto either EQ or IQ times, what were some of the things that just from your field or from your schooling experience or from your home experience were you
Hmm.
starting to form like, okay, this is who I am, or this is how I'm worthy? Like, what were some of those pieces for you?
Eco EQ years is more about like um oh man, we're all right, we're going in. EQ was more about like body image for me because
Hmm.
I was a bit chunkier during like my middle school years. And also that was like in my family system, like my mom was really struggling through those years and my dad was working a lot and my brother and sister had anxiety and I was like confused about how to like and just in hindsight in retrospect, just like confusion of like how to feel all those things, be around them. Like I wasn't like independent enough. I spent a lot of time like outside my house,
Hmm.
uh, with friends and the neighborhood and stuff. But like I didn't really, I was between those ages I wasn't independent, you know? Couldn't just like get distance. So kind of like imposed like to look a certain way
Hmm.
and I had to feel like on the one hand, and like the polarity of like being at school and like uh, have to look a certain way to be normal, and then also going home to my family. It's like if I want to be part of my family, I have to feel kind of like shit. It's like reconciling those two things is like a big part of my holding,
Hmm.
and uh, or like repression, you know, because I was just
Mm.
like holding a lot in. But that drove my creativity in some aspects, like to poetry and writing, like reading. And when I got to like IQ, the biggest pattern was I guess like seeing through those like worth wounds and through ideas I had about mental illness um and like work because I like began working a lot at that age. So I also began drinking a lot. So I
Mm.
substituted the repression for drinking. That was just like my way of repressing, but then I'm like also working a lot. Um, which the main pattern or main program was like, okay, I have to suffer in order to make
Mm.
money, you know.
Mm.
I have to spend my time uh to get a dollar. But on the flip side of that, my reaction to realizing that also was like the past like 15-ish years of my life, so to be. And
Mm.
now most of my work the past like 3 or 4 years, I guess like through the gene keys has been like unwiring that ultimately.
Mm.
Being like a reaction to not being free keeps
Mm.
me more not free.
Hello, 55 lives work.
Mhm. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on. How about you?
Mm. Yeah, my like imprinting years around worth and things were very much, and I've been talking about this with my devoted ladies as we're like deep in the Venus at the moment, how the hurtful things that were said to us in our kind of EQ, SQ, IQ times obviously create these impacts, but also the positive, like the compliments that we were fed at this time of our life, can very much form a shadow sense of worth, though, as well. And I feel like for me, it was
Mm.
more about that side of things as a
Mm.
child, where I received a lot of praise for the way I looked as a little kid. Like my mum used to put me in like beauty pageants and shit. And like in my room, I had my little sash. Like I won Little Aussie Bright Eyes when I was a kid. And like there was all these things around this positive reinforcement that that was the best thing about me as a kid. And like a lot of that side of things, plus then like my energy. And I was always just super bubbly and excitable and all of these things that are like, vitality is my core wound and vocation. So like these form really big aspects of purpose for me as well. But the way in which my childhood experience was formed around a deep worth coming from these places. And the catalyst of my entire inward journey was when all of those things fell apart in my life through chronic illness. That was my big, just sort of like what you're saying, these wounds become the reason why we go in. you know,
Mhm.
like it was when all of that started falling away from around me that I even began to realize, holy shit. I thought that I knew who I was. I thought that I had really incredible self-worth and self-love. No, it was just I built my whole identity around what other people said was good about me. And there was no real roots inside of myself of being connected to who I really am versus
Mm.
being, I felt very much as a child that I was molded to be someone that someone would want, whether that be being wanted for like more professional reasons in terms of like as in primary school I was the school captain, I was the sports captain, I was, like,
You?
yeah. me me I like, all those things. So wanting, I want people to vote for me and all that, and like kind of being pushed towards those sorts of things, and then like wanting to be wanted by men because my dad was so not present, and so then that, okay, this is where your worth comes from, and then really like extremely groomed through my household that that was the goal, to
Yeah.
have a man of importance to want you. And that was going to
Mm.
be my journey in life. Like, and even though I was very bright, intelligence wise, no one ever told me to pursue that, because it was like, that doesn't matter, Haley, because you'll marry someone rich and you'll not have to work. Like that was the
Uh,
culture I was sort of raised in.
yeah.
Um, and so when
Yeah, I was
I
groomed to be one of those dudes, basically.
right,
But every
it's like the age-old story of the yin and the yang, like, um, but then I didn't want to, like, I never connected with being a girl as a young, I was very tomboyish because I think I was rebelling against that. I think that
Mm.
without realizing it, I was rebelling against my feminine nature, being like, I want to be powerful like the guys. Like, because I felt very powerful and I got a lot of line five energy. And so I was in this very uh, like searching for something but not really feeling grounded in who I was. And so, like when I first started doing like the inner work in my mid 20s, when I had like my big kind of dark night of the soul moment and started taking me inward, one of the first journaling questions that I asked myself was just, Haley, what do you like?
Mhm.
What do you like? Because I realized that my my upbringing, I thought I knew what I liked, but I just liked the things that I thought that I should like so that other people would like me.
Mm.
And so a
Yeah,
big
for
part of
sure.
my journey has even been just reclaiming, reconnecting, discovering who I am. Like my SQ is psychosis. And so
Mm.
like being raised in this world of psychosis that told me, it formed a box around me of this is who you are and this is what life's about. And my journey has been about obliterating that box to discover, um, to touch upon who I actually fucking am, you know?
Yeah.
And
How old were
my
you when
child
you
self,
had your Dark Knight,
well,
your first big opening?
my first big opening was when my dad died. I was 21. And that was my first moment of even just, that was my first moment of questioning life because I never
Mm.
really had. I just sort of plodded along and life was quite easy in a way. And it wasn't until dad suddenly died that I, for the first time, very, very jinky 61, for the first time asked the question, like, what does happen after you die? Like, because
Mm.
my dad was a very strong atheist, like very, very outspoken atheist, and I had always just subscribed to
Mm.
that belief system myself. And so when he died, it was like,
Did
surely
he
he has.
did he talk about it towards the end? Like
He
did he?
he died, boom, unexpected heart attack. So he'd never had an
Mm.
ending. Like he had a heart attack and he went into onto life support and then he never woke up. And so he never
Woof.
had an end of life moment for him to even consider any of that stuff. And so, and he had very, very the amount he would drill it into us as kids that you die, you get put in the ground, and that's it. Like, and so that was my
Mm.
first kind of, I feel like that's when the lid of the box came off, right? And I was
Mm.
like, started looking around for the first time. But then it was when I hit
Mm.
25 and then my health rapidly declined that then that became the, and who the fuck am I? You know?
Mm. Yeah.
It just shows how potent those first 3 7-year cycles are in the tone that is set for what we're destined to unpack and unravel and understand. And
Mm.
like, you're talking about purpose. before. And like my purpose is understanding. And that's really the tone of my Venus sequence has been understanding and then the forgiveness of this world that we live in that creates an adult like I was. It's like just seeing the point in that whole thing that it was the deconstructing of it where the beauty comes from, you know.
Hmm. Mm.
Mm.
Thanks for sharing that.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for thanking me. One of my friends used to say that to me. I always gotta laugh. Um, wow, man.
Mm.
I think
And so,
that question, sorry,
no,
just
you go, you go.
no way you go.
Oh, I was just going to say that that kind of full circles back around to what I said at the start of how now that the worth is solid in me, it's like this entire way I lived my life.
Right. I think, yeah, that's what I was gonna say is that question, like that, it's that single question over and over again. It's like, who am I? What do I like? What is natural to me?
Mm.
What feels good? Like, how do I love? How do I define love? How do I define
Yeah,
prosperity? Like all those questions,
yeah,
are the awakening. And we have to awaken more than once, you know? So
absolutely.
it's like every time we go through that process of integration, we experience like an archetypal fractal moment from like
Mm.
that's been following us throughout time,
Mm.
it's its own rhythm
Mm.
and that we sync up with every time we shed a old self-image,
I love that.
And even sorry, go for it.
I was just going to say, I've got a beautiful dear client with the 20 in her evolution. And a question that she has like really brought into her life is, who am I now? Like that's a very Gene Key 20 question that helps ground us into the process of not who am I, but who am I now? And who
Mm-hmm.
am I now? And who am I now? Like holding space for the rhythm to shift
Mm-hmm.
as we get
Mm.
below the layers.
Yeah, and ultimately, like that is to bring it back to where you started this. Like, ultimately, that is to me the process of discrimination. Like, that's why that 12 gene key is the final trial and the Ring of Trials, and also the
Mm-hmm.
Ring of Secrets. It's like you hit a certain state of absorption along your way that you find yourself in pursuit of just like more subtle and subtle frequencies
Wow.
that like you're tuning to
Mm.
in your life and like things start to just kind of they drift off but they're like still there. It's like you
Mm.
those old versions of yourself they drift off but
Mm.
they're still like floating around
Mm.
like my one of my favorite teachers and also one of my favorite quotes from like Ram Dass is like after a while your neuroses are just like old friends or just come over for tea.
Yeah.
Like 50% of this is just showbiz. So
Mm.
like
I love that.
that's like it's like yeah, who am I now? Who am
Yeah.
I now? Like do I
Yeah.
need to be one of those? And
Yeah.
uh to that point, between the 12 and the 35, I find those connected. I feel like that's a great big secret in the Gene Keys. Because it's like the Ring of Secrets. You have the Ring of Secrets, the what am I trying to say? Ring of Origin,
Mirror. Oh, origin.
and then the Ring of Miracles.
Miracles.
Create a trinity of gene keys that are also rings, codons, ultimately. And they're the only ones in the matrix like that. So part of like
Mm.
what I find the 12th and the 35 connect is due to delta, which I haven't, like, I'm talking about this as an uninitiated delta traveler, just through my own contemplations. But because the 12th gene key in the delta is the first that corresponds to the physical body. And I find that there's just like an echo or something between the 35 and that hunger because it is so like it's physical and it's pure, you know? It's like hunger is just like the raw force of
Yeah,
evolution, you
evolution.
know, in us. It's like, and it's inseparable from our physical bodies
Mm,
as long as we, well, as long as we train them to live on food. But ultimately, like part of that state of absorption, you know, is like that process of uh, discrimination towards like subtler, more refined frequencies, whether it's food, whether it's people, whether it's uh, careers, whether it's your creative pursuits, you know, that you find yourself like searching for a
mm,
more pristine aspect of the romance is more light. It's like your body's learning to subsist on more light, and more light is entering,
mm,
more rarefied light is like um entering through your DNA. So,
mm,
which is a miracle, you know? Like every
mm,
time you awaken, every time you hit that, you go through that fractal pattern, you hit that same point, that was also the same dark night that you just left. It's a miracle.
mm.
Or you get to at least witness a miracle.
I love that. And I love how then in the pulse, how the 15 follows the 12 and how that kind of that last trial
Mm,
on the other side of it is the return to the beauty of the everyday.
hmm.
You know, kind of like that that return to the village part of like the phases of awakening. And it's
From
like
the
the
12 to the
final.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
like the 12's like that purity of kind of returning to source, like final trial, like the whoa. And then it can feel like that was the point almost, but then it's like, and the 15's like, and it belongs in the mundane. This is so that you can see the beauty in the everydayness of life.
So we
Like,
just left at 12, right?
yeah. Yeah, we just left
Oh,
the 12th
what?
and went into the 15 like 3 days ago, 3.5 days.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how or why the pulse is arranged like it is?
Well, I mean, I'm how it's arranged through the
Like
sun.
how the sequences do the pulse like around the wheel? It's one of the
Well,
most mystical aspects,
oh.
I think.
Well,
Dude, I'm like,
for me, I just think of it as the conscious sun, where the conscious sun is moving. But please tell me
well,
more.
no one knows. Like that's from Ra. He just said like that's what he
Mm,
was delivered. So that's
mhm,
carried over from like human design is like the way the actual gene
mhm,
keys are arranged in the wheel.
mhm,
Because it looks like there'd be a pattern. It looks almost like it'd be a cone rings, but there's all these weird placements where it's
mm,
just not. And
mm,
when asked about it, Ra was just like, it's just
mm,
something the voice told him. So
mhm.
there
Um,
are,
do
I
you
mean,
ever
it's
do
an interesting.
your yearly profile, like on your birthday for the year, and seeing how your Venus and your Pearl changes? Have you ever done that?
No.
No, Tam Mayo told me to do it. Um, because it like your profile shifts each year, which she's talking about like how then like your transits for this year then are
Right.
held in like your Venus and your Pearl um to yeah, and how even your life's work can change based on like the transits of that kind of stuff, or your line can change, but yeah, your Venus and your Pearl changes, and like she was talking about how like that showing the transits of that year and how that can bring richness to your birth year profile. So I for some reason that just popped into my mind. I just wanted to know if you did that.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Also, I'm
Mm.
like a profile heretic, so we make good
Well,
company.
I mean, I did it on my birthday, and I was like, the
What was
the three gene keys that I had been like, whoa, why do these feel so potent for me this year? Were fucking
interesting?
28, line four was my attraction.
No way.
19, which pelicans have been following me fucking everywhere all year. 19 is my core wound this year.
Mm,
And then 53 is my pearl and my culture. And like, oh, and 42 is my EQ. Like these keys that I've been so drawn to and had been for the first 5 months of the year. And then boom, I'm like, they're in my fucking transit chart for the year. It's just crazy.
transit chair. I love that.
Yeah.
I think that
Oh,
is like another echo of like what your friend was saying. It's like, who am I now? You know? And
yes.
it's like we
Yes.
like it's a good idea to shake it up. And I
Yeah.
think, you know, you lose some of the mystery of like who you are if you keep putting it back in the same seed, you know?
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
there's like it flows this way. Like you can flow that way, but you can also do it the
Hmm.
other way. You know, it's like,
And
oh, that's just
yeah.
the starting point or standpoint.
And yeah, I think that when you've got that starting point of your golden path, like really grounded in, and I think which is so important. I think it's so important that we ground in like a body sense of knowing with our golden path that is our gene key profile. Because sometimes like I've definitely, I just speak to so many people in the DMs about gene keys and stuff, and people send me their profiles all the time. Like I fucking love it. But something that I do notice a lot is when people jump around too much before they've really grounded in their
Mm,
golden path. There's just a certain depth and richness of the gene keys that just hasn't, I guess, probably that patience that we started with that really needs to ground in. Like, I think playing with a transit chart is fucking epic when your golden path is relatively grounded in, because you can now actually, you've got the language and the understanding of something to do something with it, instead of it all just being more information and more information and more distraction, more superficiality when we like, so the joy of playing with something, but playing with it in the depths, playing with it in like this, like from
mm.
living it, and fucking pelicans will not leave me alone, Lawrence. They just won't leave me. And even like the amount of times I'm just
What is
driving down
what is the
19.
yeah, pelican?
It's
But isn't it pelican
sacrifice.
and like isn't there like five birds in the dream arc
Yes.
that it's a
But the
part
pe-
of?
the pelican is saying you need to take this journey of these five birds. The pelican doesn't even have its own guidance per se. The pelican is like, you've got to take this most intense fucking journey through all of these birds, and then you might be able to understand me. And then the fact that I've got 19 as my vocation this year, and I've felt very much on this. But honestly, I'll be driving my car, just focusing
I
on
was
the road
born on
and
the 19th, so 19's like a very like I really it's just it's a powerful number for me. I always like have like a deep relation to that gene key and
it's
it
never been really
is
in my field until the last
we're here.
6 months.
Well, me and the Pelican fam are here.
Just pelicans. I'm like, okay, when am I gonna
I
finally like? I looked it up quite a few months ago in the Dream Arc and read the guidance, and I was like, fuck. I was a bit disappointed with the guidance because I was like, oh, I didn't really want that, but that's the point of the pelican, it's sacrifice. And but
right.
then the fact it just won't leave me alone. I'll be walking down to the beach, and then it's like my intuition speaks, and I just look up, fucking pelican. I'm driving down the road, and then I'm like, for some reason, I look in the air, and right at that moment, pelican. And usually they're in flocks. Usually there'll be like nine or 10 of them, or at least three or four of them. And then on the weekend, I was sitting on the couch in my lounge room with both the kids on my lap and watching Toy Story. And I'm fully into the movie and I'm like loving it. And then just suddenly in me, it was like, look out the window. And I look out the window, and just in the gap of where I could see outside, a singular pelican was just going in circles. And it just stayed there in circles. And I just watched it for like 3 or 4 minutes, and then off it went. And I'm like, these
Mm,
pelicans are not leaving me alone.
mm,
So, like, I just love that about the dream arc, how it gives us this. But
for
yeah, then
sure.
the fact that it was in my transit profile and the fact that it was already starting to speak to me, I'm like, yeah,
Right.
I've been
Yeah,
using
no,
some
I feel
panicking.
I definitely believe what you say, or like agree with what you're saying about adding more complexity or intricacy before grounding. I was more just speaking about like treating the profile as like a starting place for like who you are rather
Mm.
than this very 55 thing of me to say. That's the irony is that I'm just classic. Classic my profile, but I always tell people is like I just like my approach is just to hold it a bit more loosely and use the like more important than the gene keys in your profile, I find are like the sequences that you travel on. Like you can have like the core of every gene key holds the same truth. So
Yeah. Yes. That's where I feel like
marrying
the
ma
pathways is like,
hmm
and maybe like what, I don't know if this is kind of what you're saying, but like what my soul picks up on is I think the importance of doing the golden path isn't necessarily for your gene keys that you have on the golden path. I think the importance of doing the golden path is actually the spheres and the pathways. Like take our gene keys out of the profile,
hmm
and just that immersing in the journey of those pathways and the keys that help us to like see what life's about.
hmm
And
Yeah.
you could put any key, you can put any fucking key in that sphere. It doesn't fucking matter. And Richard himself says that. Like,
Mm.
I think for me, it's really about the physical path, like the pathways.
Right. Yeah, it's I don't know. I don't want to say whatever gene keys you have it don't matter, but they don't. And then
Yeah. I'm
but
exactly the same. I'm
but at
like,
this
they
but
do,
like I just
but they
think
don't.
I think at one point in your journey they matter extremely because they like
Yes.
I like if I look back at my own
An anchor point.
journey through my golden path, like those themes are like the
Yeah.
most like poignant and spot on that like I've had
Hmm.
to undergo in my contemplation. But
Hmm.
it's like it's just structure, you know? It's just like knowing
Yes.
it,
Yeah.
it's like using the discernment to know when there's a point where you like need less structure in the thing, you know?
Uh-huh.
Because
Uh-huh.
ultimately your awakening is like a wild,
Mm.
spontaneous event.
Mm.
So
Mm. Mm.
to it just becomes more elemental at that point. It's not that like it's not resonant. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like the journey is asking for a bit more surprise or a bit more flexibility, you know?
Yeah.
Um, so you can have that aspect of longevity, you know, because
Mm.
then you don't get tired of going to the same thing over and over again because you can weave your way in and out when it feels the most appropriate.
Amen.
Also, if you want, while we're on stream, we can pull up my transit chart for the year
Yes, please do.
because I'm
Do
very
it.
curious. I don't know how to do it on Zoom, but let me let me minimize this.
So you go,
And
you just for the birthplace, you put your current place where you live now. Um,
oh,
and then you keep the
let's
same birth time.
see.
While you're doing that, there was this one little quote that I wrote down from one of the beautiful ladies in my community from a call we had yesterday, which I just thought that
Mm.
you'd love. And you mentioned the Ram Dass cup of tea thing. And I was like, oh, you'll love this. I posed a question around like how have the gene keys had a profound impact on the mundane, ordinary nature of your life? Like from taking this deep journey, where is it showing up just in the simplest, most mundane of ways? And she said, it's put me back sitting outside with a cup of tea.
Mhm.
And I just fucking love that. I'm like, if that's not the whole point.
We were
Mm.
just, yeah, we were just out. We go up every few weeks to get water from a
Mm.
spring. And on our way back down, we like stop and hang out by the river. And it was just like, it was like on the solstice, it was just like so peak. Like with the mountains and the sun there, we were just hung out by the river for hours. And
Wow.
I was just like, yeah, what else is there?
What else
I
is
actually
there?
I wrote a poem about it too. I think. I mean, I didn't realize I did it in the moment, but in retrospect, I was
Mm.
like, oh, that's what that was about.
Mm.
It was just talking about uh wait. I put my original birthday in here. That's not true. I was born this year. 2026. Oh wait, no. Everyone's getting oh, oh,
What is it? Tell
uh,
me.
uh. How do I my core wound is literally patient. It's the fifth jinky.
Oh, with what line?
Four.
Oh, the rejection.
How do I
Oh. If you ask to share your screen, it will send me a thing and then I'll be able to approve you.
okay, it's like that. How do I oh the Gene Keys website is like so dialed. It always impresses me. It's amazing.
Boys, hey, I'll make you a host. Hey, stop, stop. Okay, you should be able to share screen now.
Look at that.
5.4,
Look at
43.5,
now I'm
49.
the dancer.
I love that a line change in your activation sequence.
Isn't that crazy?
Interesting.
I F with that so
60,
hard.
63, 49, 43.
Literally all these have changed. Like my
Mm.
entire Venus sequence is just completely
Yep.
different.
Yeah, my whole Venus sequence
And
and my pearl all changed. Yeah.
that's
Oh, we've got
wild.
the same pearl this year. I'm a 53 pearl this year as well. I feel like that's very special.
I think so.
I
Wow. I really
will.
like uh, this is illuminating. Probably have to spend some time on this, but it
Yeah. It's like a I got this weird confirmation when I looked at mine, like just oh, so all of these themes that I felt drawn to.
yeah.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
And then I've
Mhm.
been looking at mine as like an aspect of my chart. So like, like I was looking at the 19 that I've got as my vocation for the year or my core for the year. I've been looking at as like the 19 as an aspect of my 58. So if my 58 is like this overarching theme of my life, and then at this point in time, the 19 is wanting to partner with that.
Right.
Like, what does that partnership bring about, or what does it invite me to be with through the lens of that? And I've just found that to be a very, very rich contemplation.
No, for sure. I think that because it's like I still think the best analogy for like the spheres and the profile is like the sphere is a classroom and the gene key is a teacher.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like if you think
Hmm.
about like your birth profile, those are like the master teachers for your life, right? But then,
Hmm.
you go through school and you have plenty of teachers,
Yeah,
that like so it's like
yeah, I love that.
that's who you're vibing with this
Yeah.
here. This all
Mm.
slaps pretty spot on. So, um,
Fun times. I love that analogy from Elijah that when you have a gene key multiple times in your profile, it's like having the same teacher for different subjects.
yeah.
Like it's
Oh,
such a
that's good.
great
Yeah.
way to describe it. It's like, oh, there's Mr. Smith again. Got him for science and English, and it's like you get that flavor through the different classrooms.
Mm,
I don't have any repeating keys, but in my transit chart, I've got the 53 twice. Or well, when I look at my with my star pearl, I've got 58 twice in my birth profile. But yeah, some
53 is
people have um, I work
what
with
were you
some people.
saying?
They've got I've had a lot of clients that have got like triple gene keys. Like they'll have like the same gene key as the biggest, like the most spicy one that I see is when people have got the same key for their evolution and their core. Like that is a
My
curriculum.
heart just went in my stomach.
Talk about things we wouldn't want in our profiles, that being one of them.
Oh, that
Uh,
that you might want to bookmark that.
yeah. I
I'm
definitely
definitely
think we
down.
we should we should do our next one on, you know,
That'd
that
be great.
keys or combinations that were like, damn, that is whew. Mm,
Some heat.
yeah.
Um, how do I how do
If you
I
click stop share at the
unshare?
bottom of your Zoom, there'll be the button that says stop share or
Oh, I
unshare.
see.
Yeah.
Lawrence learns technology.
So
Gonna
good.
have a teacher for that.
Well, I love the
Right.
direction that this conversation went today. Like,
Yeah. So how do you
just
like sorry, I just wanted to ask
mm.
actually please continue. I don't
No,
want to say
I had nothing to say. Please ask your
I
question.
don't believe that. You always got something delicious. I was just saying like how does that experience of like okay, um like being out and like not sure, feeling a little lost, essentially. Uh
Well, it is my life's work. Like, dislocation is my life's work.
right.
And so every time I find myself back here, bouncing between the dislocation and the entropy, because these seasons always come with a sense of entropy for me. They come with this
Mm.
sense of just like I just feel so heavy, slow.
Hmm.
And I notice my want to distract myself from that. I notice my want to do anything or be anywhere but here. Like I've become very intimately aware of that feeling. And so now when I find myself in these places, it's so weird because of course there's still the sense that I don't like this feeling. Like you're never gonna like, I'm never gonna like feeling entropic and lost. But, and like Richard says, you don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it. And I feel like I'm at this point where I've been here so many times and extracted so much beautiful understanding about it that now when I'm in it, I'm just in it.
Yeah.
And even though there is that sense of not wanting to be here, there is also a deeper sense that I won't be here forever. And there's
Right.
this trust that I've built with life that it's going to gift me freshness from here. And that if I just let it and I just let go, and this has been like the battle that the arms have been laid down now. Like I used to have my fucking sword, I had a machine gun, like boom, 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 like I'd be in battle with this, like, all right, I'm going to war. I like would battle with this feeling because I need to do stuff to be worthy. And that's what fueled the resistance and the battle. But now that I just don't subscribe to that anymore, I don't have to fight against anything here.
Right.
I can just be here. And and while I'm here, I do my best to um let Gaia just love me. I do
Yeah.
my best to, even though the last thing I feel like doing when I'm feeling like this is, going for a walk or going for a swim or going to the beach, or there's something deeper in me that's like, just let myself do that. Not make
Yeah.
myself, because just let myself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And each time I end up back here, it never ceases to kind of fascinate me in the way that, so I'm even more okay here now.
Hmm. That's
And
tea.
yeah. I'm It's weird because like very far in the background, almost like it's a distant voice that used to be right here in my ear. It's so far away now that I can barely hear it. And it's like, Haley, you'll never amount to anything. Like, but it's so distant now that
I know exactly what you mean. I had that same
instead it used to be
experience.
like, oh no, you piece of shit. Like it was like an army general in my ear telling me that I'm just a worm, like, where it's just like kind of running off in the distance. And I'm like, look, like I can feel a real subtle sense of that fear. But then there's just something in me that's like, I don't need to care about that,
Right.
you know?
Because you're like moving at the speed, close to the speed of like light and being,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like that fear is running so fast. Maybe it's ahead of me. It's running so fast ahead, not in the rhythm of life, that like I didn't have to run away from that voice. I've just slowed down back to my true pace that it's so far ahead that I can hardly hear it anymore.
Right.
And there's such a sense of safety in this rhythm that life has invited me into, where honestly, entire thought forms that have ruled my life around ambition and where I'm headed and blah, 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 blah,
Mm.
have just like evaporated from space and time. And I'm just like,
Right.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
Well, ultimately, they're boundaries, you know? So
Mm,
I feel you tapping into that boundlessness.
mm,
It's like only
nice.
when that,
Mm,
like the idea that puts up walls alongside of us. So,
yeah. I think ultimately
mm,
I've let go of the lie that it's about me. Like
tea.
I think for a very long time, I've been releasing a sense of self-importance
Hmm.
that, going back to like those childhood years, that was kind of, I was raised to think that I was special. And I think that it's there's a part of our purpose that, of course, like we play such a vital role, but I think that my awareness is shifting from self-importance to collective importance. And that's
Mm.
radically changing the rhythm and the pace at which I'm living.
Wow.
Hmm. So I used to be a selfish bitch.
I love that.
Mm.
I feel much the same in my own journey. I'm glad you're feeling that.
Mm. It's kind of thrown me around a little bit in the
It
best of
does.
ways.
Yeah. I
It's
think uh I really relate to what you're saying about like how far away that voice is, you know. I think yeah, so much so that like when it comes back it sounds a lot louder than it actually is
yeah, yeah,
whenever I hear it.
yeah.
And uh hmm, yeah.
Mm, 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 mm. Feels like a beautiful ending that feels like a beginning of deep contemplation inside of both of us. I can feel it.
Play
I
some
had someone
adventure.
DM me this morning. Someone DM me and um, they said, Haley, how can I start living my life instead of thinking it in my head? And that's like that when the sound is right here, the noise is, I'm like, well, that's the entire journey, isn't it?
Hmm.
How very human.
Hmm.
Like we're raised to live our lives in our heads, and then when you're called to this journey, it's the journey of getting back down into the heart, and there's no quick fix of that. It can only be a patient path.
Yeah. I think it's like that that's like the first rung on the ladder is like realizing, you're not no one's special, but everyone's unique, you know.
Yeah.
And it's like or it's like you're not different, but you are special, whichever way you want to go about it.
Mm, hmm. It's like it's more about what we've made that all mean about worth. Worth is deeply connected to wanting to feel special, and yeah, there's just so much to just gently disentangle from, like being
Mhm.
caught in a net and
Yeah.
just you know
That's really what I hear what you're saying. It's like you really like mastered this art of gentleness with yourself. So,
yeah, I think that that's been one of my biggest rewards, and I think that's a line for core wound, learning to be gentle with myself
mm,
can be the hardest thing to do, but I think one of the things that reaps the biggest harvest in just
mm,
the quality of life. A lot of when we don't have a very good quality of life, like a lot of that is in the way that we treat ourselves.
yeah. I was thinking about that today. I was just like, oh, like so many people like have a lot of money or a lot of stuff going on, but it's like, do they have any peace? I don't
Mm,
know, you know,
mm,
and just feeling, 'cause, 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 all these things that like dispel the illusion, and
Hmm.
just make it so irrelevant to like anything. It's like I don't know about any of that stuff. I'm just here.
Hmm.
And mm,
Delish.
I guess that, yeah, I mean, we could go on forever.
Yeah. I've got a Gene Key session and I'm gonna sit and prep for now with the guy that I said reminded me of you that's in my membership. And I've never got to meet him like on Zoom before, and he booked a session. And I was like, how cool that I get to do this with you now. And like he really has a spirit that reminds me of you. And we're doing Gene Key 15, which like even again I was like, it just feels such a there's such an energetic crossover there. And so yeah,
Mm,
that's what I am going to be sitting with for the next couple of hours as I prepare myself to dive into the deep end of 15 with him this
mm,
afternoon.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, my
This
friend.
was a wild one. Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. It's like with that, like you were talking in the very beginning about like purity and like what you were picking up on this like precedent, you know, like
Hmm.
I think you were saying like find yourself like just uncovering deeper layers of like more pure and pure
Hmm.
essence of like what it is, like whether it's your purpose or your service in the world. To me, what came through for me or what I've been contemplating when we were in the 12th really strongly is this idea of or this like framework of romantic clarity and how like life is like kind of always, if we treat our life as like romance, like life is always revolving us through those doors to get uh clear on like what we're doing at that time. And I think that's kind of like what the transit chart also is like
Hmm.
kind of sheds light on is like this is what your love story is about in some way right now, you know? And,
Hmm.
uh
I love
changes, like just changes. So I salute you in the liminal space. I literally had the experience when I was bartending the other day. That was really unique for me because I have like a lot of
Hmm.
trauma around bartending. Okay, I won't go so deep because I know we gotta go, but I was just
Hmm.
like, I could literally witness that part of myself where it was like, oh, there's like this Lawrence that has like all these feelings about bartending and people coming in or whatever. And then there was just like this moment, it's like, it's so much energy to be that person right now. I'm just gonna be here.
Hmm.
Even if
Hmm.
even if I'm dissociated or lost or disoriented or whatever, I'm just gonna not
Yeah.
let that experience be the experience. And
Yes.
something definitely loosened in it. I don't exactly know what, but it was
Yeah.
notable.
Absolutely. It's like that feeling of when you realize, oh, I don't want to be here right now, but then there's this other bit in you that's like, but I'm safe to be here anyway. Like it's
Yeah,
okay, instead of then being in resistance to the moment that is, and then all that comes from that. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those moments lately.
Yeah,
When I feel like this, I don't want to do anything, yet I have
right,
responsibilities. And
right.
it's just about gentling yourself and being like, what if it was okay that you could be here like this and that you were just
Yeah,
as worthy being here like this, you
right.
know? Yeah. Mm. Well, I'll click the end stream button over on YouTube and then we can say proper goodbye to each other. But thank you, everyone.
Peace,
Peace.
guys. Much love.